Hey everyone, Kevin here. I'd like to quickly share with you another phone that is coming out soon. It's called Frank, and it is advertised at frankisaphone.com. You can see here it's using a kind of hip, youngster targeted kind of no-fuss marketing campaign, and it looks okay. It's not groundbreaking, I wouldn't say, but despite the fact that, alright, they're actually pointing out the fact that it's not revolutionary. So there's not the full specs yet, but you've got the main idea of what it offers. 4 gigabytes of RAM, 64 gigabytes of storage, 8-core processor. Now the 8-core is 1.5 gigahertz octa-core, 30 megapixel rear camera, 5 megapixel selfie camera, 3000 milliamp battery, 64 gigabytes storage, 5.5 full HD screen. It's got a fingerprint sensor, and it's on Android 6.0. So what can we determine from that? This is just more marketing stuff down the bottom. Specs wise, it looks good. It is good value for money. The one that it kind of reminded me of was the Moto G5. And if you look at the specs of the Moto G5, octa-core 1.4, that one's got 3 gigabytes of RAM, but the 30 megapixel primary camera, 5 megapixel selfie camera. So imagine the photo quality will be similar to that. Video quality will be similar, which is okay for selfies and videos during the day. The mics will probably be quite bad. I imagine they're using the exact same chips and things like that. So it looks like spec-wise it's going to be like a G5, except it's got 4 gig. And I'm not 100% sure, but there might have been a version of the Moto G5 that had 4 gig. I know the G5 Plus does. That's a little bit more expensive. Now, price-wise, and I believe in America, the Moto G5 can be bought for just around the $200 mark. Sometimes drops during, like Amazon Prime days and things like that. It was released €200. Normally, when it's euro here, it's $200. It's €1 equals $1 normally. The G Plus was a little bit more expensive. Now, it looks to be pretty much identical to the Moto G5. The main difference here, I would say, is the larger screen at 5.5, which means less pixels per inch because it's full HD. But the battery is a little bit larger, but that's kind of misleading because with a 3000 milliamp battery, you're powering more pixels, not more pixels, a larger screen, sorry. So you've got a slightly larger battery, but you've got 0.5 of an inch more in the diagonal of the screen. So I think you might actually find the Moto G5 is the battery life lasts longer. Now, it looks okay though for the money. What's the concern? Well, first concern is the fact that no one knows what this company is. So personally, I would probably be leaning towards the Moto G5. They've got a good track record of updates and support and things like that. The other thing that really kind of surprised me was the fact they're using Android 6.0. Now, Android 7 came out a year ago, so Android 6 was 2 years ago. Why they're going for such an older version of Android is a little bit strange. I know some phones do have the older version of Android, but I think they should have come out right off the bat and offered Android 7 at least. But the 4 gigabytes of RAM, it's got a decent mid-range processor. It wouldn't surprise me if it's just like a rebranded Moto G5. It does, specs-wise, it does look like that's what they've got. But you do have 4 gigabytes of RAM and you do have 64 gigabytes of storage. It doesn't say if you have a micro SD card slot. It doesn't say if it's dual SIM. The website doesn't really tell you too much. But there you go. This phone is called Frank. Will it be good? Will it be bad? I'm not sure. But at that price range, I think it's hard to complain. I don't think it's going to be a bad phone. I'd probably lean towards something like the G5 because it's from a bigger company and things like that. But at the same time, I think it's good. Competition is good. Definitely at that end of the market, the lower kind of mid-range market, I think it's good for more competition. At the end of the day, if you don't need a top video camera, top mics, top camera, for photos and things like that, then you really should just buy a mid-range phone because it'll do everything that you need it to do. Check out the website, frankisaphone.com, and leave a comment below and let me know what you think about this upcoming phone. Speak to you soon, guys. Thanks.